Hello and welcome to this video. So this is gonna be a bit of a different video regarding to the, personal exploration kind of video. It's not really its own personal exploration kind of video at all. This is more something to take a step back from what I've been creating, kind of a meta overview of kind of like very much the purpose of what I'm really doing and what I'm really aiming towards. So when it comes to the videos I've made so far and the exploration I've been doing myself and with others, well, this is for me not just an exploration for the sake of exploration or some intellectual exercise. Really, it just boils down to myself as much as trying to figure things out. This is not something, I don't know, and this is something not really easy to talk about, or don't like to talk about it. Too much, but starting to get a bit more, accustomed to this fact of kind of like accepting that this is, something that is, in the past. It would really boil down to, that I live mostly isolated in my room from a teen to young adult, surviving the flood, the natural disaster that I did, and generally living isolated from people and only going out when needed, and kind of this, this experience, this kind of feeling of living inside of society but not part of it in any emotional or psychological manner, really. With also this sense of existential angst, feeling like, being worthless, next to being depressed, at times suicidal, and feeling beyond hope. So, and it's something that it is something that I had been dealing with for a long time, close to 2 decades. So for me, this exploration, what I've been doing here on the channel, has been also in a way about overcoming the trauma of the past, healing, and finding a different way of relating to myself, others, and the world at large. Like I mentioned shortly in the From Indo-European Roots to Modern Culture Wars video, or in the From Pain to Purpose video, these things that I talk about are deeply intertwined with my own journey and life. As such, these explorations and insights I have shared regarding such topics, but also when it comes to the psychology of the hikikomori, are really in that way me trying to make sense of what is going on in the world, and sense of my own life in that way as well, to really get to the bottom of what is happening and share this with others, really in the hope that what I share would help others, next to acknowledging these emotions and the connected struggle as real and valid for all those who are going through it or have gone through it, when it comes to the psychology of the hikikomori video, for instance. And when it comes to this exploration I've been doing on the channel, it's not just analyzing what is, sometimes I do that, but also about figuring out the tools, which I normally tend to use first before sharing it with others. to really, in that sense, provide others with potential tools to overcome the very same struggles I've dealt with. And whilst I learn from modern psychology and Jungian psychology that I, look into and do deeper research on, I also, go more in the mystic and shamanic practitioner kind of direction as well. What I can say, though, is that the journey towards healing oneself is difficult. And really something that I've noticed is really this back and forth in this process. Because it very much is not linear. And even though it is very difficult, it is very difficult to go on this journey, but it's still a journey worth making, and one that one can make. One can reconnect with the inner child, process these emotions, though they might be very difficult. Well, they are very difficult to process, very much so. And that's something that I know everything about. It's not easy to sit with things as they are, to kind of deal with a sense of aversion and attachment, and to really face the past as it is, both the memories and the emotions of it all, for both of these things to come crashing together. But there's much more to it than that. Also expressing anger in healthy ways. And one of these ways that I've been doing that is through the Curious Warrior practice, which also really created much needed psychological distance from the expectations and helped me to very much cultivate a sense of assertiveness and, well, some sense of authenticity again. I guess also really a sense of self. So it really gave me an outlet for many years of repressed anger and rage, but in a constructive manner, through these rituals. And I guess in some way you can say, like, it's the shadow, or like, it's those kind of things. But it's a handy tool to use to tap into these kind of emotions and to really give it structure, to kind of like let that out, but also at the same time really, like do the sense of shadow integration. The integration of this assertive kind of side of one's being. But this also very much implied a shift in my attitude and way of being as well. Really the way I related to the aspects of the shadow. So, instead of, for instance, fearing my capacity for assertiveness, I integrated it. So I became able to wield my anger and assertiveness. How Solar Frost put it in one comment recently. Know how to put on the wolf skin, but also knowing how to take it off. Which also reminds me of something Carl Jung had said as well. How any new adaptation or orientation of vital importance can only be achieved in accordance with the instincts. Further says, lacking this, nothing durable results, only an artificial product which proves in the long run to be incapable of life. And what can be added to this is really the need for this heroic descent into the unknown and thus the unconscious. And that's very much being a necessary part of this kind of journey. And that's what the Curious ritual really became, next to, well, the dream analysis I have done and the emotional processing. That's one that one really went on for quite some time. I'm here talking in the sense of years, but yeah. So in that sense, the journey itself was not easy, full of trials, facing the rawness of the past emotions and memories. But at the same time, it's by moving through this darkness that we get to the light and the core of our being. For the emotions that weighed heavy on our heart to be cleared. So there is once more a direct channel to, what the Jungians would call the self, the center of our personality. But part of this also included what the Jungians call anima work, which is where the sovereignty goddess comes in regarding more the ancient Chorus ritual and their way back into society. But much more in a modern sense, I would say this is about looking at our patterns of relating as much as building the connection to the anima or animus. And in the deepest sense, it is to establish a deep connection with the self and, you could call it the divine, leading to a sense of friendship and communion with all these different parts of the psyche, and to move towards wholeness again. As much as, this has been my own personal journey towards wholeness, I've been doing the same thing kind of with the channel as well, and with all these things that I've been exploring on this channel, all these different aspects. Kind of why there's a round table podcast as well, part of this channel, in kind of many of the things that are being explored here. And it's all kind of it's all kind of part of this journey towards wholeness, towards some sense of, I guess, healing and a new way of being. But to go on such a journey also requires us to let go of the old limiting frame, of our limiting beliefs, and, partly of this society as well. Because if we are to live and create something new, we have to first let go of the old that no longer serves us. Like Solar Frost said in this particular comment, really, it boils down to see what is still of value and move on. But also, that it's not our burden to carry, nor do we have to go down with the old framework. And to put this in a broader perspective, could bring up both Kierkegaard and Nietzsche here, where Kierkegaard considered that angst and existential despair would appear when an inherited or borrowed worldview, often of a collective nature, proved unable to handle unexpected and extreme life experiences, where Friedrich Nietzsche suggested that the death of God, the loss of collective faith in religion and traditional morality, created a more widespread existential crisis for the philosophically aware. As such, whilst this being the case, and this kind of being the dilemma that we have, staying stuck with this particular frame, like Solar Frost here also had implied, is indeed not the way to move forward. So what we can do instead is to look outside of the current frame. Look at the ancient past and look at creative new ways of implementing things within the world, to tap into the creative, but also, I guess, like shadow kind of related archetypes, and to find this balance and work with these to, work towards this sense of wholeness, and, from that kind of a place, start to work towards something new. And for me, really, that's very much my. And for me, really, and that's really my view on these things. It's about bringing back ancient and lost patterns and ways of relating. But not in an ancient sense, but in a new and adapted manner into our own world. With its own reality, because the world now is not the world as it was in the past. Even though there are some elements that are, common to, human life in general, things in the surroundings change. And I do think that it really means, to craft together a new frame which transcends and moves beyond the old frame. And as such, what it brings to mind for me, it's kind of like the tower card from tarot. The tower being struck by the lightning of truth and illumination. And now really being up to everyone, if we want to go down with this tower or if we dare to make that jump into the unknown. Which is partly the reason why I made a video like envisioning a society shaped by ancient rites. To bring forward an idea of how something else might look like. But such explorations cannot be done by one person alone, like I had said in that video as well. It takes a shared exploration of such ideas together online and, for instance, in one's own local social sphere as well. Now, when it comes to the Moment podcast, so far we have explored things such as femininity, masculinity, relating to the self and other, looking into shamanism, ancient spiritual rituals and teachings, modern societal challenges, the collective unconscious, myths from a Jungian lens, and modern ideas like permaculture. All to explore different avenues and ways of thinking to come to a new frame of relating to ourselves, each other, and the world at large. And if you are interested in joining this endeavor and exploration, feel free to join the Foxton community, and you can as well join a roundtable talk as well, as much as suggest your own topic for exploration. And I hope with that said, maybe see you in the den. I do want to really, thank everyone who has been here so far along with the journey and the Foxton community, for Lynn from the Mossdala channel to come with the support circle idea and kind of what people have been bringing in themselves and what people have brought up during these different talks as well, suggesting all these different topics. But yeah. But I do believe that despite everything, what's going on in the world, and despite all of this, I don't know, I guess what we sometimes feel regarding these societal expectations and all these different things, there's a way to move onward from this. And I know this myself because I've been working very hard on doing just this, to get to deeper truths, something beyond the current frame, outside of it. I do also really think, with all the people that are out there, despite all these things, we do have this ability to imagine, to create. We have this sense of, creativity as humanity, as the beings that we are, and we have this potential to create something different. It's not all inevitable, like how some people talk about certain trends or certain things. Maybe if you're stuck in a particular trauma loop or something, it's like I have some experience with that one, but like, no, we have a sense of free will in this world. We can become aware of so much more than we believe that we can become aware of in our lives, and really through that awareness, together make a difference. And, it doesn't have to be something very major or something big. We don't have to carry the entire burden or save Western civilization or whatever, but it's about finding that light within, and to help spark that in others, and to really work together, form some sense of community in any way that one can, and do the best one can with the circumstances as they are. And we can figure it out one step at a time, because that's very much all we can do. When we see all of these issues and all these things that are there out in the world and going on, the only thing we can do, it's like this will of the wisp that is hovering in front of us, like just one step before us. And that's what we can see. But that in itself is something, is a way of moving forward. As long as we are moving forward. And we cannot figure it all out all at once. But we can figure it out, one step at a time. Together, because we don't have to do it alone. And you don't have to do it alone either. And yeah, I do hope that that like whoever is listening out there, that you're not alone in all of this. There's many people that are going through all kinds of things in life, and sometimes life can seem very, very dark, much more dark than one would want it to be, but it's about finding that light within the darkness.
Αίδε μου σαν μη φιλή, μολπής δε μης κατάρχου, αυρίδε σουν απάλσεων, εμάς φρενάς δονήτων.